What's up, everyone? I'm Gavin or Tweek.
It's me, Marcus, Pink.
What up, what up? It's Charles in the building.
Yep, and unfortunately, today we are Hazless. He was feeling a little under the weather.
Hazless.
Yeah, I know, it's tough. It's tough. We'll miss you, Haz. Hopefully, you'll be feeling better soon. Everybody's shout outs to Haz. Send him some love if you can. And yeah, what are we talking about today, Gavin?
Well, the Boston Celtics are losing in the playoffs, and now Haz is sick.
Oh,
so I think there's a connection there.
There actually may be something there.
But that is not the topic. We are not ESPN.
Wait, we are the ESPN of Smash. Hold on.
Yeah, we're doing something similar, right?
Yeah. ESPN Smash, Tweet Talks, it's all the same.
I think today's episode 46.
Almost to 50. The big 5-0.
We're getting to a new milestone. But low tide will be one of the main topics today. And we have various results to talk about as well. I think the main thing to talk about, though, is FaZe Spargo getting his first, big tournament win under FaZe, which is really, really nice. And I think it's the best he's ever played this week. I do. Specifically, like the top 4 losers sets. I think it's for a majority of it, it was the most impressed I've ever been with Spargo. And I was kind of in shock watching how he was so fast, so consistent, so dominant. It took him quite a few sets to even drop games. Sometimes dropping stocks was rare too. Like, it was that bad. I'm just thoroughly impressed. The Aegis came out a little bit.
Yeah,
and the Aegis was looking really, really good. And congrats to Spargo. Spargo was the best player in the room after a certain point of that bracket, for sure. And he really played like it.
Yeah, it's crazy because that's a crazy compliment. Like, the best he's ever played.
I mean, I didn't watch the whole bracket, so maybe this is like a maybe it's because I watched very specific moments or something. Mm-hmm. But I watched the later half of top 8, and I was very impressed, like more than usual, with Spargo's play. Like, am I crazy, or was that disgustingly dominant?
It's just interesting because, like when he won Collision, it also felt pretty dominant. And I mean, he played against slightly better players, like played against you, played against Leo, and stuff like that. So, yeah. And he looked very strong at Collision too. So if you,
he wasn't losing games in low tide for a little bit. He definitely, like in Grand Final Set 2 of Collision, he was really dominant. And I guess there's something else to be impressed with because he had a close set with Leo, like made some clutch plays, right? Lost 3-0 to me in set 1 and then like won a second set. Like, on the other side of the coin, that's like impressive in its own way because like you're figuring things out on the fly after like, being in a losing situation or straight up losing entirely. But at low tide, it was just, I felt like he was in control every time he was on the screen for the entire top 8 from what I saw.
So it was very like similar to his Reto run where like he got sent to losers and he was like, wait, what am I doing?
Yeah, I got in the car. Like I was busy and I got in the car, checked on the tournament, and Grand Finals had started and a game had already finished. And I was like, I swear 5 minutes ago I was watching Spargo versus Gluto at Reta. Like it was very similar to that where he's just in Grand Finals and he's like, all right, none of this like losing stuff ever happened.
And that's what's so interesting is how much of a difference like one player not being at a tournament could make. Because like we saw Spargo at Genesis, and for a little bit, like between Genesis and Pound, everybody was talking about Leo, Light, and Gluto because they were at both of them, right? And they both performed very well, top 3, top 4 at both events. But Spargo was also in that top 4 at Genesis, and then he goes to low tide, and he's like, oh, hey, y'all, don't forget about me. Like,
don't worry, we won't.
Yeah, we won't.
After that, I'm never forgetting the heck.
Yeah, he's so good. I mean, it's crazy too, because like Cola looked very dominant throughout most of the bracket, right? Like he
Yeah,
kind of like flew through the bracket.
yeah, he was
Um,
chilling. Like he looked very calm and collected throughout the whole
mhm.
bracket. And I mean, he was in winner side of grands. He had a reason to be chilling.
Yep, and
He
then
was playing really well too, and he was able. He was the first person to keep up with Spargo after he just like kind of breezed through losers top 8, and he like stood his
Game 5
ground.
versus Luis. It was game 5 with Luis, but like it was the game 5 was comfortable. He had like an entire stock lead. I think
yeah,
versus Luis, Spargo was down. Like Luis took the first stock, and it kind of switched back and forth. I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
it was
So
going back
like,
and forth between Aegis and Cloud.
I actually didn't see this one, so this is
yeah,
kind of
so
my bad.
so
Well, this was the most competitive set
for
Spargo had
Spargo.
in losers
Mm-hmm.
because even like the grand finals, yeah, 3-1 or 3-0-3-1. So Luis was the only player that took Spargo to game 5. But
Mhm.
I think Spargo was like at 0% or something like that on last talk, or low percent last talk, if I remember correctly. Called out an illusion, dared Luis at
Yep. Mm-hmm.
absurdly low or not absurdly low, but I mean
He died at like 70-ish, if I recall
70
correctly.
after the hit, maybe
After the
something
hit,
like
yeah.
that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Fox definitely didn't get to the triple digits, which is like I guess kind of a common thing. Um, but yeah, that set was a really good set, and but yeah, other than that, I mean, Spargo was just so dominant, and on both characters too. I mean, we've kind of been seeing the solo cloud recently, right? So cool to see that Spargo's still down to bring out the Aegis when need be, even just as kind of like a switch up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was playing really well. And I think there's something to be said about Luis too as a player. He's such a pillar of high level gameplay.
Hmm.
Um, like his name is always in that bracket. Like he's always doing really well
Yep.
every time I watch him pretty much. And if he doesn't do well one tournament, he comes right back. Um, like he's just such a consistent top level player. Shouts to Luis basically
Yeah.
is what all I want to say. Such a
And
nice guy and such a great player too.
he's like right there
Always,
into
yeah,
breaking into that like super top echelon, right? Like
yeah.
his two losses were, if I recall correctly, Cola game 5 and Spargo game 5,
It's
right?
safe
And
to
these are
say
like
that if he's not already there in skill level, he will
hmm
be any
yeah,
day now.
exactly.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. 100%. Like, and they were close, like nail biter sets. Like if he's like consistently beating everybody around his level or and worse, like, and he's like having these really close like nail biter sets with top, 3 top 10 players in the world, like it's only a matter of time. It feels like we say that about a few players like Luis, Spargo. Like it's true though. It's only a matter of time before they break through if they just keep going at it. So shout outs to Luis. Mute also had a really good tournament. Good bounce back after Genesis.
Another like pillar of just like
Hmm.
always like
Team Fundies,
incredible to
Yep.
watch. Yeah, Luis and
definitely
Mute are definitely
Team Fundies for sure.
fundies for sure.
They never. Hey, they always prevail.
MuteAce is the one
Except.
that put Spargo into loser bracket.
Yep.
Spargo started top 8 in losers bracket, game
Hmm.
5 versus Mute.
That
So
set
I mean,
itself could be a big topic today. You know what I mean? For
Right.
many reasons. One, um, Spargo getting upset is like a topic in itself, and two, like um, whether it's Aegis or Cloud, like Peach has a hard time,
Yeah.
and it's just
yeah,
very impressive. But like we said, like Mute is such a strong fundamental player that as impressive as it is, we also can't be too surprised. I feel like Mute could always,
Hmm.
beat any player. So,
Yeah.
um, really solid win, really impressive.
Unfortunately, had that game 5 set with the Zomba. Rob is big, Rob is heavy, Peach can't kill. All those things came into fruition,
Yeah,
and
within one moment, all of like the buzz phrases like are in one moment. Yeah,
it
getting
was
hit by
so
all the
tough.
Twitter memes at once.
yeah,
I was like, bro, when it happened, and I think it was game 1. It was either game 1 or 2 when it first happened, and Zomba was at like 180, and me came back 0%. I was like, it's all good. Like this is one straight hit. When it happened again in game 5, I was like, okay, hold on, maybe we're on to something with this
yeah,
Peach can't kill stuff. Like that is way too high of a percent for like characters to consistently be living. Like if it's happening multiple times in a set, like that's something that you should definitely be worried about. So I don't know. Mute sometimes plays Palu, sometimes. I see that Mute's also been looking at Steve a little bit.
The darkness.
Don't
You trying to leave Team Fundies? That's
Yeah, what's
crazy.
going on? That's just such a weird one to me.
don't do it. Don't do it. Also, speaking of Steve, we had a Steve win a tournament in Japan. Acola,
Good
who
transition.
Haz isn't here. I'm trying to
Yeah.
fill in the gaps.
Honestly, you're doing a great job.
He's if I recall correctly, he's 15. And
What is
he's like,
going
Another
on?
prodigy in the making.
the prodigy is in the making. And he was an online like Wi-Fi player only. Interesting. Notice how this keeps happening. Wi-Fi
For
players
over a decade at this
for
point.
over a
Team
decade
Wi-Fi, man. Team
transitioning
Wi-Fi go crazy.
to offline and being one of the best players in the world or their region. It's really strange how Wi-Fi tends to help. Anyway, yeah. In the few events that he's attended, he's gotten second. He's attended 5. He's gotten second, first, 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 and first.
Whew.
If you've seen some of his clips, they're crazy. I think I linked one in the Discord, but the way he sets up blocks is he'll set up
Mhm.
blocks behind him. So if he loses neutral, it's a very weird, like aggressive style of. I mean, like not aggressive. It's there are situations where he aggresses towards you, and instead of being behind the wall and mining, he puts the wall behind him. So if you win neutral with a horizontal knockback move, he'll tech the move and punish you with like minecart with redstone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also,
It makes it
his
weird to like press your advantage because you don't have like
Mhm.
routes prepared for like a wall.
right,
um,
exactly. I mean, it's crazy, and even just Steve Tech in general is getting wild, right? I mean, the fact that there is no lag after you're on a block that breaks. So Steves are like starting to. I mean, there's a tweet earlier today, but it is like essentially just displaying Steve Tech and like kind of air dodging onto blocks or swinging a back air, block breaks, swing another back air, so you can like double bear someone's shield and stuff like that. Um, I really do believe like Steve and Kazuya are the like 20xx characters of this game where in a perfect world in the world of Taz, like it's you just get pretty ridiculous stuff because the character has such a ridiculously high ceiling. I don't know if we'll ever get there, obviously, uh but yeah, those characters can do some crazy stuff and the
yeah.
potential's always there.
I think the main thing I was thinking about this before we started because um like the Steve player in Japan doing so well and stuff, like just thinking about Steve in general. Um Something that I think I like kind of misunderstood or obviously just wasn't aware of because the character was new at the time is Steve isn't like all advantage state. Like it's not like Luigi where it's like all of your points are put into like a ridiculous combo game. A lot of this tech is useful on hit, but there's so much stuff that's useful in disadvantage, in neutral. Like just talking about the block protection alone makes like raises some flags of like this character is dangerous. But also like I feel like the character's disadvantage state is also really good. In
Yes.
a really weird, unique way. Like if the character reaches a certain point off stage, they have access to like put a block on the ground, and now they're essentially like grounded. It's like so much stuff you have to be aware of, and it's not just like jump or minecart. It's not like a traditional character where you worry about
That's
traditional
what yeah.
disadvantage state plus their mix up. It's more like you're worrying about a million things.
Look at that.
Yeah, like the things like that Chris is showing us while we're recording this right now is like it's just
He
making me think the scariest things right now aren't necessarily Steve hitting you. It's like the character is like really like limitless sometimes in neutral and even when he's in disadvantage. Um and I think that's just something we haven't talked about much on the show, but now that we're seeing it in action, there's more to talk about than just
zero to death.
Steve's combos. Like,
Right.
if anything, like that's not the problem at the moment. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
scariest thing about fighting him is a lot of the other things, which is really unique to him, and I think really makes him a more well-rounded character than you could have expected. So it's very interesting, honestly. Even just a few seconds of me watching Acola play, I'm thinking like that, and it's interesting because I haven't really thought from that perspective before when it comes to Steve.
Yeah, it's like what's super interesting is you have your 0 to death combos, like, oh, you got a tight execution, or you can take the safe route,
Yeah,
up tilt, up air, block, up air, up smash, or back air, forward air, take your 50, get stage control, set up some ledge trap opportunity depending on
yeah,
like where you are in the match or on what stage you're on. If you're on a small battlefield, they put the TNT on the platform above, up tilt, you GG's. Like there's
yeah.
like
You're just
nothing.
going through the flow chart of like how many, like the obstacle course you have to go through
Mhm.
once you get hit or something.
If you're playing a character that has to get in on Steve, let's say you're playing a Fox, or playing as Fox, you got to start worrying about footstool down air killing you at 60. So, hey, that one combo, suddenly you're in range to die to
Yeah,
footstool down air. Like if you make like a spacing error or something like that. And then even when you're like hitting Steve, if he's vertically above you, then you're thinking, oh no, like what if he decides to anvil? But then you can also, as he starts falling, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna place a block." All right, now you got to figure out like I have my
that
double jump
that idea
again.
in itself
Hmm.
is like really blowing my mind right
Hmm.
now. Like that variable is such a strange one to play around. Like
Yep.
if anything, if they execute it properly, it's so safe and they can really reset in so many different ways.
Hmm.
It's a lot on how much resources they have too, right? Like Steve disadvantage with no metal, it's dog shit. Like I'm gonna be real, you know what I mean? Like not having like still having the blocks to kind of reset your double jump is still really solid. Don't get me wrong, but when you don't have to respect anvil, I don't care if you block. I'm swinging this up air. Like I'll hit the block and I'll hit you. I don't care, right? It's it it's so weird. Like Steve is a character where the highs are extremely high and then the lows are extremely low in terms of like, okay, if I don't have metal and you don't have to respect me and I have these base stats, right? And I don't have minecart or anvil as an option, then you're just gonna blow them up. Which is why we're we don't know how to fight Steve right now. I think a lot of top players they're in this experimental phase where it's like, do I time Steve out or do I rush him down with no metal? Right? Because if you pressure him and he has no metal, right? But then that's when his combo game comes into effect. Now you're approaching him. Now he might be able to get these huge openings, right? And I think it's everyone's kind of figuring it out right now. I really want to point out as well, in terms of the players that were there, Yoshi. I don't know if Yoshidora actually played Acola, but if they played, I heard Yoshi's one of the hardest matchups for Steve.
So,
I
So
think I've heard
that'd be
stuff like
crazy.
that.
so
Shuton plays two characters that I think do well versus Steve, Aegis and Olimar.
Yoshidora played Acola in winners semis,
That's crazy,
um,
and he won. This
and
this kid's
he
insane.
won. No, 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 no. Yoshidora won.
Oh, Yoshidora won.
Yoshidora won. Yeah, Acola
Oh,
won through losers, and then they played again in
We had to run him
losers
back.
finals. Run it back with Kazuya.
Oh, he
damn.
counterpicked. Okay, because
Mhm.
I know like a lot of Steve mains that I've talked to, they said one of the worst matchups is Yoshi
I think
because you
I've
have the
heard
frame
that.
one jump. They have a lot of ways to hover in the air because one of the common like, oh shit, I'm Steve, I'm in the corner, I need to like minecart. But what minecart am I going to do, right? That's always the mix. You minecart, you force the opponent to jump. Is Steve going to jump out of minecart, throw out his bullshit aerials or whatever, right? That's the situation you're going to play a lot against Steve. And I think Yoshi can like throw eggs and kind of hit. Like, I think Yoshi can play that situation well. And on top of that, mitigate the punish game, right? So you can camp, you can pressure via air. You don't have to worry about the combos. Like, Yoshi just has a really good, kit. And I think Steve Kazuya might be a really good character combination. I mean, both
It
characters kind of
reminds me of
lack.
T's combination of Pac-Man Kazuya. It's like a
Yes,
similar idea.
similar
I
idea.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. And I mean, he won with the Kazuya, and like I think it's really cool that we're talking about these characters that have high ceilings, like potential, right? Because Steve, I think there's a lot more to talk about because like we were pointing out earlier, there's a lot more neutral tools and disadvantage tools. I think Kazuya Sora fall under the department of like, oh my god, you win neutral 3 times and you win the game, right? Like those are the characters where it's like the punish game is where all the ceiling, like all of your chips are, front loaded into that punish game, and it's like, okay, like let's talk about this punish game though, right? Because I mean, past that, both of those characters' disadvantages aren't that great, and then neutral wise, they're pretty solid. Like they have their own rights. Like Sora can camp you out with active hitboxes. Kazuya is Mr. Blue Man, right? Like he's just always invincible. But all of their stuff is front loaded into Punish Game. Whereas I think Steve is a little bit more interesting and possibly has a lot more potential. And even the more I think about it, I never put block as a top 10 move in the game. But I actually think block, it might be the best move in the game, like over gun. Now that I'm thinking about it, or maybe not over Monado.
It's like it's not
Monado,
even a move. You know
You
what
know
I
what's
mean?
crazy?
dude,
I
block
use-
is insane.
Okay, so also sorry, quick fact check. He only won one game as Kazuya. He went Steve for the rest of the set.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it
he
was
won with Steve
Kazuya.
anyway. That's
Yeah, he won
crazy.
Steve anyway. Yeah, he won with Kazuya on FD.
Oh,
Interesting.
But
Kazuya.
it was gun for a long time.
Well, Monado art.
Now,
Monado art's like freebie number one.
well, yeah, but now it's electrical in Godfist, bro. I don't care what nobody says. I don't think it's block. I think
You think it's okay?
that move
It's
is
crazy, yeah.
it's absolute. You have an invincible combo starter stun move that's safe on block that you
Spot
can just
dodge.
you,
Who needs to spot dodge?
what's a spot like? It's a defensive option. It's an offensive option. It's a kill confirm option. Like you could put that on absolutely any character in the game, and like they might actually become. Imagine you're fighting Ganon, and he just and then he just up smashes you or forward smashes you at 30. Suddenly you're starting to worry about Ganon. Like that move is there. There's so many like
Yo, Ganon could recover if he had block. That's all I'm saying.
Ganon could recover if he had block. So I don't know. I don't even know if his air drift could get him to close enough to.
Yeah, true, right?
He
Like,
won't
he
be able to
can't
drift onto the own block he's placing.
Yeah, he can't. He just can't get to that area.
The block actually stops him because he bumps into it.
And there is a lot of crazy moves in this game.
I was about to say, like,
they've
what
added
are we
some
even
moves.
talking about?
They've added
We should be
some
ashamed
moves.
of ourselves.
I mean, hey, those are the characters.
What happened to the good old days?
What do you mean?
When
do you mean the
characters
good
couldn't
old
charge up a final smash,
Yeah, like what's going on?
I mean, these are great times. Everybody loves Steve and Kazuya, right?
At first, all I had to worry about was Arsene, and that was a vague similarity to something I was already dealing with.
Yeah.
Like Limit or like Bayonetta. Right. But now this shit is really weird. It's scaring
getting
me.
weird.
What are we even talking about?
In the words of Rod, the streets are getting weird, bro. These streets are getting weird.
Like, what? What the fuck is a block?
I mean, speaking of Bayo, there's been a Bayo that's been doing really good, right?
Oh, true. Oh, man. I'm sorry. We didn't even talk about Bloom.
Bloom is killing it on the Bayonetta. A character, obviously, if you played Smash 4, very strong. Strongest character in the game, even after nerfs. By a pretty long margin. Just the risk return on the character was absolutely insane. But, in this game, I still think ABK is a really strong move, right? I think Bayo still has a handful of very, very good moves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that Bayo is such a controversial topic in terms of character strength, in my opinion, because some people put her high up there. Some people put her like trash tier, right? I mean, she just doesn't have a lot of solid confirms. Her straight hit game is like kind of meh. The smash attack, they put a lot more of her kill strength in riskier options. She can't like safely apply curl pressure as much in this game. But I still think ABK is crazy. I still think combos, like her damage output's really great. Up tilt back air is still pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, Bloom, they're doing a great job with Bayo, right? So obviously the character, and even I know a couple Genesis ago there was a Bayo that got really far as well. So there's still Bayos that get great results. So I mean, what do you guys think about? I mean, I definitely want to transition into talking about the Europe scene in general, but I guess we can just talk about right now. For now, Bloom, what do you think about their Bayo and Bayo's just general strength in the meta? Because I feel like most people think
the main
Bayo's
thing
like
I want to throw out about Bayo, I think her weakest is grounded moves and grounded frame data. I think one of her best grounded moves is like up tilt, but it's like a very specific like bubble. I think But the buff she got to her grounded moves, I think, were really nice, and it helps within the context of Bayo. Like, I think up tilt is like really crazy now. Down tilt's like a solid move. Basically, like down tilt was like, you know, her jab and her down tilt and her forward tilt all into like one.
Jab's a kill move now too. The Bale has gotten a decent amount of buffs.
Yeah, it's like down tilt was her all-purpose ground move, which is already like kind of scary. You know what I mean? Like that's rough. But now her jab kills. So her jab being so slow, like that helps.
Frame 9 jab, I believe, right? 8 or 9.
Yeah,
it's
one of the slowest jabs in the game. I think the slowest jab is actually DDD. I think DDD might have the slowest.
You gotta swing a whole hammer, man.
Frame 10 jab. I think DDD might have the only double-digit frame data jab, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I think Bayo is all right, but I think the hardest thing about Bayo is the counterplay to her is really simple and effective. It's not like a complicated game plan when it comes to fighting her. Basically, what I'm saying is if you play really grounded at specific spacings and like crouch a lot, like if I was playing Bayo, I'd be throwing out a lot of question marks. Like, what do I do?
I mean, jump ABK is her best opener, right?
Exactly.
In my opinion, her best neutral tool is jump ABK.
And it's really easy to ruin that, like just take it out of the equation. It's really, really simple and easy to do that. And I don't know. I think she's all right, but I would have to watch more of Bloom play too, because I haven't watched a lot, but it's very interesting how dominant they are in their region. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's absolutely insane because, again, this is weird, but they also played Wi-Fi. Woo, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Another really young player that played Wi-Fi a lot, and they're the best in UK, but they've never traveled. As far as I know, they've never traveled outside of the UK. So they only play top talent when there's an event in the UK that they are at.
When someone's coming to them, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, as far as I know, they've never played against Gluto. So it's really up in the air. As weird as that sounds, who's the best player in Europe? Bloom just beats pretty much everyone. I know Siski's like in contention for being like second best player from Europe. And they actually pulled out Snake in their grand finals set, and Snake was actually doing really well. Bloom plays a lot of characters, though. It's not just Bayonetta. They also play Joker and Rosa and just a lot of the cast at top level, Pokemon Trainer. So I'm really interested to see like if somehow maybe I think there's a tournament in the UK region or something like that that's coming up. I think so. If Gluto and Bloom will finally play at an event, that would be super, super sick. But there are a lot of other like interesting placements at this event as well. Nighthawks, who unfortunately didn't do the greatest at Genesis, who had just popped off the week before at another European event, popped off again. They're one of the best players in France playing Lucas. They got third here. They just lost to Siski twice. Like they can't be mad at that. Super good player. All the players from the Netherlands. So Mr. R, shout out to Mr. R who got fourth.
Shout out to Ramen.
Yes, Ramen the GOAT. Super Simi, the Young Link, and Space, the Inkling, they all made it to top 8. So, showing the Netherlands is super, super strong.
Those two playing Young Link and Inkling since the start, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And
loyal. They're loyal.
Yeah, and I think Space is at some point started playing in other games as well. I think they were playing.
I haven't heard Space's
Guilty
name in a
Gear
while.
Or something like that. Guilty Gear or Fighters, or I think I recall seeing them like doing really well at some event.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then to round out top 8, we had Trem, the Mega Man from France. And
that character is good, man.
This is going to throw you for a loop. Yeah, Mega Man is very good. And this is going to throw you for a loop, but... And Isabel.
Oh.
got
that's the best character in the game. What do you mean throw me for a loop? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Jaka, who is apparently Switzerland's like best player. It blows my mind. Those like can be said together. Like a country's best player is on Isabel. It's really strange to me, but hey,
competing in the UK.
You know what I'm saying?
There's so many weird things going on here.
There's a lot of I mean, European meta is a little different. Unfortunately, Rafflo. I mean, the event was actually really hard. Pelly was there.
It sounds hard, yeah.
Yeah, Rafflo was there. Streaks was there. Tariq was there. Emas was there. Like there were so many like big names. You know, Orion, Ogi, like a bunch of players that did well at Genesis actually were there, and they didn't make it to top 8. So you know, it wasn't like this was like a free event or anything like that. It was really, really stacked. And Bloom again just keeps winning.
Yeah.
Just keeps winning in Europe. So I'm curious to see. Hopefully at some point either a lot of top talent from around the world gets to go to the UK or Bloom eventually gets to travel and we see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, especially with Europe in general, I mean, it's a region that doesn't get as much spotlight as Japan. A lot of Japan players can't travel as often. Just the work culture in Japan is pretty strict. And with Europe, I mean, I'm just traveling to the US. US is the place that gets the most eyes on it, right? So I think just traveling to US, even from anywhere that's not the US, is going to be tough. So, and a lot of these players are younger too, right? I mean, the two of the players that we talked about, Acola and Bloom, they're not even 18 yet, or definitely on the younger side, right? So obviously a lot harder for them to travel, which is why even for Leo's success story, we had Leo on the podcast earlier, right? It was a lot of players giving Mexico a shot and kind of traveling to their region, which is why I noticed Leo is very willing to travel to a bunch of regions that aren't necessarily like the hotness and stuff. So, I mean, shouts to any top player that does that for, a lot of regions, even though it's not necessarily the most PGR status like event or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that's really cool for top players in general to do. So I'm really looking forward to it. I would love to see, Gluto versus Bloom. I think Bayo is a character that if your character relies on air to airs, and I mean, this is going to be with a lot of characters that, like characters like Bayo or Meta Knight that are viewed as mid tiers, they're great counterpick characters, right? Because if you have to deal with aerial ABK or your grounded options aren't that great, right? Then all of a sudden Bayo's like kind of a tough matchup. All of a sudden, right? Or if your character's like extremely tall, doesn't have a great crouch or something like that, all of a sudden, ABK is always online, and that's, in my opinion, Bayo's best move by far. And you essentially, I mean, we even talked about it. You play around that move, all of a sudden, Bayo's forced to use some of her other options that aren't as consistent, right? So, would love to see more players travel up to Europe. Shouts to the European scene; they've been killing it lately. The French Dimension at Genesis, you know what I mean? The Frenchmen came through at Genesis, so it was really cool because Genesis is usually a tournament where you see Japan come really strong. Like a lot of traditionally Japanese players, like a big group of them. I know for Genesis 3, a big group of Japan players came out. They had the Japanese flag, the crew battle, right? And it was really cool to see at Genesis another country really come out strong. And it was very obvious that they kind of all got together and they're like, all right, let's plan this out, get as much as our players out there to support. And it was really cool to see, to have a crowd behind Gluto and the other European players, right? And I mean, just in general, when you look at Genesis results, Siski got 9th, losing to Gluto, who got 2nd at the tournament. Probably could have got top 8, right? That's a bunch of bracket stuff. And even Ogi got 13th, I believe, the Wolf player. Orion. And then Ogi's the Falcon, right?
Yes.
And I think Ogi actually plays pretty well as well. So it's like these are very respectable placings for the players that aren't Gluto as well, right? So I feel like Europe as a region in general is getting a lot more respect, and you love to see it because that's a region that doesn't get as much spotlight, right? And I feel like right now the regions that get a lot of spotlight are Japan, Mexico, and obviously it's earned, right? They're just really strong regions, so it's really sick to see them come through. But I love to see other regions get the spotlight, and even just talking about Japan and Mexico, Golden Week coming up for Japan, right? And we already kind of hyped up Acola and some of these other top players. And shout out to Shuton too, man. Shuton got 2nd at the tournament. Shuton pretty much only places top 2.
Consistent,
bro.
Super consistent.
I want to talk about this too.
Shuton hasn't placed below 2nd this year.
Yeah, Team Fundies.
Yeah.
And he's fighting the future. Shuton right now
Yeah,
is fighting the
Shuton
future.
is
He's our last line of defense right now.
yeah,
All right.
like
Let's
for us
fucking go,
old
Shuton.
people.
Yes.
All right,
Old
but
hashtag old people, hashtag team fundies.
not only did I want to talk about Shuton doing so well, I wanted to talk about Olimar.
Ooh.
Low key, I think Olimar is on the comeback.
True.
I actually think Olimar.
Big true.
I think Olimar is coming back.
True.
So we got top level Olimar in America. We have DeBuzz and Myron. Like no introduction, they're really good players.
Yeah, shout out to Myron.
Shuton
Myron's been killing it.
literally doesn't know how to lose in Japan. Literally just wins
Gets top 2
all the time. Top 2, yeah. And this Subo player is just showing up to America playing Olimar. I'm like watching and I'm like thinking like, did Olimar never leave or is Olimar back? Or is it like, you know what I mean? Like it feels like Olimar is really good right now. And I'm watching the character and I'm like, I think Olimar's just good, period.
Won Evo Japan.
Like
Olimar won
Olimar's
Evo
just
Japan.
good.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Mr. Spaceman.
I think there's clear weaknesses to Olimar. I know the Buzz usually puts Olimar in like that high tier area, which can make sense. I think Olimar can lose to things like active hitboxes, kind of cutting through, up smash anti-airs and stuff like that. Like I think the biggest weakness for Olimar, and I think there's a clear answer to this, is you don't have very great grounded anti-airs. I think that is one of the biggest weaknesses. But for compensation, you are short, so you're just like most players have to sink the aerial pretty low, and you can anti-air, but you have to preemptively do it with a short up air. So it's a little committal. You have to put yourself in the air. You have to rise up with an up air, right? But it's still a pretty solid option because if you guys don't know, Olimar's smash attacks on the ground, they have item priority. So a Wolf Nair will go right through a Olimar up smash.
Yeah.
But on an Olimar up air, his aerials are like sword moves. So
Yeah.
you can actually, if you think Wolf is going to come in with a Nair, you have an answer. It's just a little bit more committal, right? And you have to kind of pull the trigger a little earlier. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point. Olimar is a character that was super dominant in the beginning, kind of fell off. Olimar players, like I know Myron's results kind of fell off a little bit, and then the buzz kind of shifted over to other characters. Shuton stuck around with the Olimar, but now we're kind of seeing this resurgence, right? Myron's like killing it recently, getting like back-to-back top 8s. Shouts to Myron, amazing Olimar player, stuck with the characters through thick and thin, no matter what. The buzz, we're seeing the buzz kind of like shimmy back to Olimar a little bit more and more as he talks.
He always does at least a little bit. It's kind of like me with like Wolf or Wario or something, right? Like
you guys definitely be not having faith, but when push comes to shove,
it comes out once in a while.
Wario, Wolf, like
it happens once in a while. Like it's business, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you gotta put the tie on. It's cool.
Yeah, shout outs to Shuton going absolutely ballistic for the first half of this year. It was cool to see Yoshidora do well again. Third,
another really consistently good player.
I don't know like how you get third on solo Yoshi. Like the people at this tournament, like first of all, there were like 450 entrants at this tournament, right? So like this was a pretty decent sized tournament. And we had Acola who won, Shuton, Yoshidora, T, Kameme, Hero, Ken, Kome was there. Abba, who's been doing really well recently. Shout outs to Abba.
I need Abba to come back.
He got ninth. He got ninth. He went crazy.
He has been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Team Abba Dongo. Let's fucking go. I need Abba in these top 8s.
Passeriman was there. He got 13th, and this is the first tournament this year where he didn't place top 3.
Another case of like similar to Shuton, just always fucking winning.
Yep. Proto was there. Proto got 17th, like, which is like, it sounds insane.
Every
like,
tournament, there's like a small like shift in the meta's core, and it's slowly shifting to like this weird future, like bizarro world of like Electric Wind Godfist and blocks. And, like, what I was talking about earlier.
Silly like, block man.
Smash from the past is almost completely gone. But at the same time, you think of Leo and Spargo, right? Like
Yep.
the two current best players, or even like Gluto and Light, like they're not quite playing those characters. So it's like the top of the top is still pretty much normal Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But then once you get to the general like high level, like it is like the Wild West, bro. Like it is just some weird shit.
Dude, the new
Like
generation is on our ass. They are coming. The new gen is coming through. You know how like in One Piece there's the worst generation? I feel like that's the new gen coming through right now, and we're just like, fuck. Like we
the
know it's
block
inevitable.
generation.
We know it's inevitable. Like we know we can't stop them, but we
Electric
can slow them
blocks.
down. We can slow them down. I know we like, or not we, but you guys could definitely slow them down. So I think like kind of seeing that battle of the different generations of Smash is always fun to see. And even, I mean, playing against Kazuya or playing against Steve can definitely be frustrating, but it's definitely a spectacle. I love watching Kazuya.
Yup.
Getting Electric Wind Godfist at 0 against Kazuya,
Yeah, I
from
remember
Mulder or whatever.
at Collision, like sitting in the crowd watching Riddles
Riddles.
versus Cola,
It's
and
fun.
I'm the type of guy to be like I hate Kazuya, this is stupid, but like I was getting hype.
They're like playing neutral this whole time. Cola's hitting them like 8,000 times, and you're like, okay, but if that one lands,
Yo,
it
it's
lands,
even though.
and you're like, he's dead. Like that's exciting. Yeah, it's so exciting. Like,
Yeah,
so I think Steve and Kazuya like bring it brings okay. So there's always a spectrum, right? When something like negative happens, there's always like a good, that's how it works, right?
The yin yang
So
shit.
the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So a lot of people hate Steve and Kazuya. So what that does
a lot of
is
people love them. Yeah,
it brings well, a lot of people love them, but it also brings excitement to matches, right? Because if your favorite player is playing against a Steve or a Kazuya or something like that, right? You are rooting your brains off for your favorite player, and then you're just like, bro, no, he got electric wave off. It's like no. So
yeah.
it's exciting. It brings like excitement. So I understand when people dislike characters a lot of times. Like I play Min Min. A lot of people dislike Min Min. But also I know when I'm playing against someone, people are really excited. Like when I was playing against Fatality, it was like exciting because it's like, bro, Captain Falcon, hero character, Fatality, woo! It's like Min Min,
Yeah.
lose. So it like brings like this dynamic to matches where if you're watching like Roy and Fox play, it's exciting all the way through, but it's like a slightly different dynamic to it.
Yeah.
You're adding a new element of emotions to
Mm-hmm.
the spectating, which I think is fantastic. And whether you know about all the Steve Tech or not, you will see Mr. Blockman building it up, throwing out the TNT. Like you don't need to know all this stuff. Like, and I think that's why Smash in general is such a it gets such great viewership numbers because it's so easy to watch. Right there,
Mm-hmm.
even I think any esports is fantastic in terms of watching if you can watch it and not play the game. Like I don't play
Yep.
Melee, but I can watch Melee all day, and like
Yep.
just watching top level Melee is beautiful, right? And I think the same goes for Ultimate. Like you don't need to play the game to watch it and understand what's happening. It's pretty simple and straightforward for the most part, right?
Yeah, it's just like, oh snap. And it's even more exciting when like you start getting into the game, right? Because then you're like, was that combo you hit that they hit him with true, and then you like go check and you like want to lab and stuff like that. I don't know. As much as people hate on Steven Kazuya, like it might just be because I play Min Min and I don't really have to deal with what everyone else has to deal with. But I really enjoy them being in the game, and that's actually probably why. It's probably because I play. Okay, never mind. But hey, I like that they're in the game. They're good inclusions.
But I really want to get back to just talking about Golden Week. So if you don't know too much about Japan culture, there's 1 week in the entire year where all of Japan, whether you're a student, going to elementary school, or you're a CEO at a company, everyone gets 1 week off. It's called Golden Week. Now, Japan, like we said earlier, Japan work culture is pretty strict, so that's why it's pretty rare to see players travel out of Japan. It's just generally hard to get off of work and stuff like that. But that's why Golden Week is so hype, and I wish there wasn't too many restrictions because of COVID. But hopefully next year, Golden Week. Golden Week is something that I always want to travel out to Japan for tournaments because almost everybody goes to these tournaments.
Yeah, I
So
saw the attendant like
It's
the amount of
crazy.
numbers. It was
It's
like
crazy.
almost an 800-person tournament for this
Yes.
tournament we're talking about. That's
And
like more than low tide and pound, I believe. So
if you know anything about just the Japan scene in general, in my opinion, Japan as a region has the least amount of skill gaps overall. So, like, if I had to explain that, it's like if we had a crew battle and it was like, all right, all like we'll get the bet. Like, this sounds so stupid, but we're getting the best mid-level players from the USA, and they're gonna go up against the best mid-level players in Japan. Japan would like Japan's mid-level players are stronger than US mid-level players, and I think that goes for high level as well. So like, um, Japan doesn't necessarily have the highest heights, and like their top level players can definitely compete with other regions' top level players, right? We just don't get to see it often. But in terms of the skill drop off from their top level players downward, there's not too many big gaps. So when you're talking like 800 Japanese players coming out, and most of these players are dedicated like solo mains as well. Like it is very common in Japan culture for multiple Smash games that they just pick the character they like and they just try to learn all the footstool, all the craziness, no matter how good or bad they are. It's a very common thing in Japan. Um, so it's really exciting to see these tournaments because you get to see all these different characters get pushed really, really far, and everyone's coming out. So let's see here. The two tournaments, Kagaribi number 7 is coming up
Bro.
Wednesday, or like when this is being published, essentially. So that tournament is going to be absolutely crazy.
Bro.
And I don't know how to pronounce this. Saibugeki number 10 on Tuesday, which is right now happening. So, yeah, I'm look forward, and we're definitely the next podcast we're going to go over the results of these tournaments. Kind of bummed that quarantine, in general, has made it so not a lot of outside of Japan talent could attend. But hopefully next year for Golden Week, things will be more solidified in the world in terms of like quarantine and all
Bro.
the COVID stuff. But this term is gonna be crazy.
Have you seen the entrance, bro? The top 32 seats, bro. Okay.
Give me the breakdown. Give me the breakdown.
Okay, so normally we're used to seeing Zachary, right? But Zachary's on break for Pokemon Unite.
Zachary, come
I
back.
know.
I respect it so
We
much
all
because I,
miss
I
Zachary.
understand he just wants to
Pokemon
get
Unite
into
is lit.
It's a very fun game. It's a
It is
very,
very
very fun
fun.
game. And
Yeah.
The skins are so good.
I hope Zachary becomes the best player in Pokemon Unite because that
He
would be
probably
so tight.
is.
That'd be so tight.
super sick.
He
Let's
probably
fucking go,
already
Zachary.
is.
But I wish you were playing Smash. But I hope you're just as
True.
successful in Unite.
Okay. Shuton, Proto, Passeriman, Kome, Gact and Repo, who by the way both got I think 65th at that tournament.
Mega Man.
Like they are consistently strong players, and even at that last tournament they got 65th. So just to show you how strong Japan is, T is there. T's not even a top 4 seed. He's 7th seed. Like Japan is insane. Yoshidora's there, Atelier Hero, Kameme, who by the way, ever since he picked up Sora, has been super consistent.
I want to
snap.
I've always dreamed about not always. This is kind of a recent thought. I always wanted to take like an extensive trip to Japan to compete in these tournaments because it looks like such specifically good practice that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's not even about like a vacation or anything. It's literally like I've always wanted to like find some window and dedicate it to that. And I don't think I'll ever be able to do it, but like look at this.
We're going, Gavin.
I want to put myself in that bracket and like just really get some good practice.
It's such good practice. Me and Void actually did a boot camp in Japan.
Yeah, like
for Genesis 7. So
I'll take the bare minimum, but I want to at least go to a couple tournaments in one trip. You know what I mean?
Next year for Golden Week, Gavin, if we're not busy and quarantine's done, we're
gonna be busy. That's the thing.
No. Let's go next year.
Start planning now.
Golden Week. Hopefully things work out. I mean, I really would like, because the last time me and Void went, dude, we went to Neotono's place and we were grinding, and it was like so cool because Neotono I've been a fan of Neotono since Brawl, obviously, right? So it's like, just kind of like being at Neotono's house and, watching Void and even just playing with the Japanese scene. It's so cool. And I think in my opinion, going to Japan for a boot camp is the best training you can get because everyone's like such a character specialist,
Yeah.
and it's just like they're so passionate about the game. So, and Japan's super sick, and the food is great there. So there's definitely a lot of pluses, and it would be sick if
Something I
again.
specifically wanted to mention is kind of going back to what I was saying about like the top like best players like play like more traditional characters because they've been around longer, so they don't like play like Steve or like the new stuff.
Right.
That's actually what I was getting at. I feel like that's been one of my biggest struggles lately with Smash. It's like the top 64s and the top 32s.
Yeah.
I always feel like if my Diddy Kong can get to a specific part of the bracket, I'm more comfortable because I like know what I'm up against in terms of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But getting there is like harder than like a top 8 or something. Like, you know what I mean? At
Depends
least for
on
me
your
specifically.
character.
Huh?
Yes. I said depends on what character you're playing.
Yeah.
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 So it's just interesting. I feel like I need to like change my game plan to revolve around like dealing with that issue and like kind of treating it differently because a lot of the new like high level and top level players are just very different than what I'm used to, like because I grew up playing like Brawl and Smash 4.
Yeah, different generations.
But yeah, just just the way I worded it just made me think about my own game plan, so I kind of wanted to mention that. But the second thing I wanted to ask, going back to their tag is Night Talks, right? The Lucas player.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about Lucas? I think Lucas is kind of interesting. I'm not saying Lucas is good. I promise, Marcus, this is a coincidence. I'm not trying to annoy you.
I don't know. Gimmer said Lucas top 10, right?
Gimmer did say that, but I just find Lucas kind of interesting. I don't know if it's because Mother 3 is like one of my favorite games ever, if not my favorite game ever, but I don't know. Like, I think my Lucas would go hard.
All
You
right.
said that in Smash 4.
Yeah, you did say that in Smash 4.
My Lucas did go hard. I'm not saying would. In Smash 4, it did.
Okay, yeah. You give Gavin like any like down throw up air confirm like killing character, and he just went stupid in Smash 4.
Okay, so, gosh, I can't believe I'm about to answer this question on the podcast. Lucas is. Sorry. Before we get into this, there's one thing that I forgot to mention about Kagaribi's seeding. So I named all those players.
Wait, is Acola going?
Yes.
Yes.
He's 57th seed.
What?
So
that's entirely accurate.
Someone's bracket is ruined. Like I feel so bad.
They probably have
second,
to...
first. You know what I mean?
There's no way.
I'm hoping that it changes before the tournament starts. But if it doesn't, I feel sorry for whoever's bracket that affects. I think it's like Ateliers or something, Heroes, something like that.
Yeah, shout out to Umeki too. Umeki and QB. They've amazing TOs for the scene and their top players. They're both goated. When me and Void went to Japan, Umeki took really good care of us and took us around and even like had like meetups for Smash Fest and stuff. And Gact got to like 0 to death my Fox over and over. It was super fun. But yeah, shout outs to Umeki or any like shout outs to TOs in general. But like those are the 2 Japan TOs that I know a lot of.
I'm so sad. All right, Lucas. Here we go. That Lucas is, and I've actually thought this for a very long time, since probably the beginning of the game. I thought Lucas was like a solid, like almost top tier, but I've always thought he was super strong. I just think he's way too hard. Like he's very technically demanding.
I like stuff like that, so I was just curious.
He's very, very technically demanding, but off of like the things that he can do. Like you can see him do like Zare across the stage into like down air or forward air, or if you can do like his Nair drag down tilt, like he has Nair drag down, just dies. He takes like infinite damage. He has like down air loops that he can do on people. He has a lot of things that are like actually super, super strong, and like his neutrals are actually really solid. The hardest thing about playing Lucas is sometimes His disadvantage can be a little rough because he's floaty, and on the way down, he doesn't really have like the best buttons. Um, but
Susceptible to trades and stuff like that.
yeah, like
Really bad like trying to land anti juggle stuff.
yeah, but I mean, outside of that, like he's super strong. Like he has some of the best up close frame data in the game. He's really good. It's
Frame two
just
jab, bro. I'll
frame.
never forget that. I really fucking hate that Lucas has a frame two jab. Like that character tilted me so hard in Smash 4.
Dude, I'm watching this and I want to.
He also has like one of the best forward tilts in the game
Oh
by
my
far.
His
God,
fair
yes.
is OD as well.
His
Very
forward
active,
air
Dude,
is
very
I just want
fast.
to. I want to pick Lucas and try to see if I can win by forward airing only.
Hey, well, hold on. When does this
Team
podcast
Fundies,
come
bro.
out? Oh, it
Lucas is
comes
Team
out.
Fundies, man.
This podcast comes out 11 on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, watch that gamer video. You might be able to. It's coming out later.
Oh, true.
Nice.
Nice plug.
Um,
Yeah, I think Lucas is super good, but he's mad hard. And I'm old and my hands hurt, and I
yeah,
can't.
my
beat him
hands
on
hurt
that
right
level.
now, and I'm not even playing Smash. So
Yeah, from playing PM Lucas to trying to play this, I'm good. Just hands.
I'm
Are good.
chilling. I'm throwing arms like neutral.
There are some matchups where he just gets camped really hard, like he just gets zoned really hard, like Min and Samus and stuff like that. But for the most part, especially if someone has to fight you, you're probably like you're good.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. I wanted to hear some thoughts on Lucas because that character is very interesting, especially because I don't know if I'm off the mark here, but I think the character is actually more similar to his Brawl counterpart than Smash 4, which is interesting because they took a lot of stuff away from Smash 4 Lucas, but then I feel like he still has some strengths that are more like Brawl than Smash 4. I don't know how to describe it.
I mean, his strengths in this game is like super good close quarters combat and
Yeah,
like very strong neutral, very good edge guarding, and like those were all things that were like his strengths and brawl because he has some of the best edge guarding in the game between PK. All of his special moves are just really good. Um, and then he has, but in Smash 4 he was more of like a combo oriented character.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
he would go for like down throw, footstool, down air, locks into stuff like that, and then do like and he has like a lot of combos in this game, don't get me wrong, but for majority of the time, like the Lucas is focused on neutral in this game, and in that game, especially when they got the high percents, you would just fish for grab, do down throw up air. I forgot what they used to call it. It was really stupid, but down throw up air was guaranteed in that
Not all the
game.
throw combo names.
Yeah,
No,
I forgot
I
what
didn't know
they
it had
were
a
called.
name. Let's
I
just call
didn't
it
know it
down
had a
throw up
name.
air like
Yeah,
everything else.
down throw up here. So yeah, he's interesting. He's just I'm glad there's someone out there that can play him because
Yeah,
I've always thought he was really good. He's just way too hard.
interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
I know. Like, even recently, just hanging out and stuff, we were talking about like Meta Knight and some of the obscure like more characters that are put into the mid tier. And I feel
yeah,
like a lot of mid tier characters, they what make them mid tier is they probably have a bunch of things that are going well for them, but at the same time, there's maybe like one thing that you could like abuse really, really hard, and then they have tough matchups because of that, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's
like
kind of
even
like
like
they're
a
like
character like
borderline.
Diddy,
Are they worth it or not?
right,
And
right,
you have to
exactly.
decide that.
And it's like I think Diddy kind of falls in that spot, but Diddy's top tier matchup spread justifies
Yeah,
him losing to like you know what I'm saying? So and I think he like Diddy has more universal tools that are just like, oh, this matchup's hard, but well, just box it out with Diddy. You know what I mean? And like you can still do that. So
flexible. Yeah,
right, I
some of
think
these
he has a
other
little bit
like
more flex.
specific like niche characters don't have that flexibility.
Right, right. But
But yeah, those kind of characters are so interesting, right? Too, especially because they're not very common. They have some specific stuff that a lot of players don't take full advantage of and stuff. I find myself like interested in that kind of thing.
yeah, because it's weird how those characters always turn out to be strong. You just need a certain
Takes a
player
little
to
bit.
pick them up. Yeah, or that too. Like everybody was like, "Bro, Corn is awful," and there goes Leo.
Right.
You know,
You can
Violet
definitely make.
sucks. There goes Leo, and
Yeah.
then here, oh man, I know the YouTube comments are about to. I shouldn't even have mentioned that. Y'all don't give Leo enough credit. I messed up. I'm sorry. Like,
We literally
Yeah,
call
on this
Leo
podcast,
the
we
GOAT.
just think Leo is like not that
I
good. You know what I
apologize.
mean?
So, dude, YouTube comments blow my mind.
He only
This
wins all
is
the
a
time. He's not
this
that
is
good.
we could make this section just venting on YouTube comments.
They
I
actually
don't
think
everyone I don't know why, but people think I
they
just
think we hate
Leo.
him or something.
I literally don't get it. And it's just funny to me because all the people that are saying that in the YouTube comments, like, you've probably never even said hi to Leo. I am literally his friend. Like I've had dinner with him. I've had conversations about the game with him. Like we talk to each other. I've worked with Leo on tons of content pieces like School of Smash and all that stuff on his YouTube. I am good friends with Mkleo. And everyone's like, "Oh man, dude, I can't believe Charles hates this
This
guy.
podcast is
Doesn't
dedicated
give him enough credit." Like
to
when
not giving him credit.
like
Oh
what? And
man,
then, you know
but
what's crazy? Leo will say, Byleth is broken, Corn is broken, or like he will say that himself. He himself, Mkleo, says that these characters are good. But when other people are like, "Oh man, yeah, those characters are good," Leo just really did a great job of bringing out like the potential and da da da. Man, you guys don't give like if you don't say Mkleo's carrying the character, if you don't say Byleth is bottom tier, and if you don't say Corn is bottom tier and Mkleo carries them, you fucking hate Leo. Like. I've called Mkleo the GOAT. Like I can't count how many times I've called Mkleo the GOAT of Super Smash Brothers.
What a strange comment, Charles. That's the end of the episode. See ya.
Yeah. Like
oh no,
so,
but
insert your guys' comments. Yes,
we've run into another issue. Now we didn't go the entire podcast without dunking on the community. Oh my gosh.
No, damn
But
it.
now it's another version of the YouTube comment.
I'm
Might be. I
All right,
should
let's
have
go around the horn,
should.
predicting what people are going to say. All right, I'll start.
Okay.
First off, thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
okay.
Second off, today's May 3rd, so we will be recording a special May bonus episode for the Patreon if you're interested.
Oh, true.
Whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, just thank you for the support for the podcast in general. My prediction, we didn't talk about Gluto enough on this episode. We didn't talk about Light enough. I don't know. I think we did a good job talking about a lot of players and characters.
No, we didn't talk about the buzz. Well, see ya.
Well, I'm just used to that. That's my goat. That's the king.
True.
That's the king of my area.
All right, around the horn. What do I think they're gonna say? I don't know how y'all like Steve and Kazuya. Like y'all all just agree with each other all the time. Y'all don't ever disagree.
The Min player like Steve.
Of course, the Min player. Like, oh man.
Charles, I think that you guys got zero fucking mix. So I'm gonna see the same shit I see every fucking episode.
I'm gonna predict it. They're gonna say that like Charles' like whole rant about Leo was like something related to his ego or something.
Yeah.
They're gonna mention Charles is like an asshole or some shit.
I'm a piece of shit. I don't do anything for the Smash community. Everything's for my own interest. I just don't think Leo's good, and I'm just a piece of shit, and I only want Tweek and Void to win everything, and I hate every other player on the planet. That's what I'm going to hear, because that's what I've heard for fucking years, and apparently it's just a crime to have a favorite player. So
cut it off while he's talking. See ya. We'll just end it, and he's like doesn't stop.
That's so funny. So funny.